50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh my God! Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game. He ran the missed field goal back. He ran it back 109 yards. They're not going to keep him off the field tonight. Holy cow! Oh my God! Auburn wins. Auburn has won the Iron Bowl. Auburn has won the Iron Bowl in the most unbelievable fashion you will ever see.
Oh, welcome back, everyone, to a brand new edition of the Dream Wager, episode 422. Today is Friday, July 19th, 2024. As always, I'm your host, C-Rock. Back on the East Coast. Feels good to be on sea level, but I am joined by my co-host, the NBA guru, my partner in crime, Elvis Acosta. E, how you doing today, kid?
Well, besides getting tore up by mosquitoes in the backyard, I just want to wish happy birthday to a couple of my cousins and my aunts, my aunt Marisol, my cousin Rule, my cousin Diamond. So happy birthday to everybody. I just got tore up by mosquitoes, but we'll be all right.
Yeah, it's been bad. I didn't miss that. It was like around 95 to 100 consistently in Colorado, but
Yeah.
it was dry, so it was kind of like bearable. Over here, bro, I landed, it was 90 and humid. I started sweating already. I was like, I did not miss this. I'll tell you that much.
I tell people all the time, like, I'm a big guy. I sweat. I went to Vegas. It was 102 in Vegas. I had a gray shirt on. I did not sweat.
Wow.
Like, it's just different. Like,
Yeah.
it's just the humidity out here is nuts. When you go out there to the West Coast, it's just less humidity. Sometimes no humidity. So that's the difference. So it's just the humidity. That's the X factor, people. It's not the heat. It's not the sun. It's the humidity.
Yeah, 100%. So a little discussing out back here, but good to be back. Good to be with you. We got a great show for you guys today. We'll recap the week in sports. We had the MLB All-Star Game, Home Run Derby. Had some news in the NFL as well. People requesting trades. Our girl Angel Reese back with another double-double. Usher going into the locker room. That's my guy. Usher paying tribute as well. Caitlin Clark setting another record as well. Got some baseball plays, 14 games on the slate. We continue our two-a-days with Elvis's Patriots and the Miami Dolphins towards a little later in the show. But your boy, Teoscar Hernandez, won the Home Run Derby 11-1. When you said it, as soon as you said, I was like, I like it, because you never really know. The Home Run Derby, whenever you think it's going to be, I guess like Pete Alonso was the favorite. Bobby Witt Jr. was a high runner as well, our odds-on favorite. It's never usually the favorite to win. So after the show on Monday, I put in a little pizza bet, and I got him at 11-1, and you were right. So good shit. And Teoscar Hernandez, what a win.
Yeah, like I said, I always pick. You always got to sprinkle someone at random. That's down the line, because that's how it ends up. It's like, don't get me wrong, Polar Bear could have easily went off, but still, I even hit the under 25.5 first round, because I was just a little skeptical about how the new format is gonna be, like 40 pitches under 3 minutes, but you only get 40 pitches. I highly doubt he's gonna see 30 plus hittable, and what we saw though, he was just getting under it. And then with Hernandez, though, to be honest, people, I did say sprinkle. I didn't pick him. He wasn't my first choice, but I did say he will end up in the finals. So I at least got 50%, more than 50% of it right.
100%. And I mean, what just like an awful showing by the Polar Bear. I mean, he just didn't look good at all. He was kind of reaching for a lot. And you could kind of guess or kind of tell by watching the event who was like more experienced, taking their time as well. Bobby Witt Jr. had the hardest hit home run, so we do hit on that. The under 484 feet, that cashes.
I try to tell you. He was like, it's going. I said, nah. I've been watching this shit for too many years. It's not going over 460. 460, maybe like, Colorado or, even somewhere like, in the Midwest. But anything, east or, in the south is not. It's not. No. Fun.
So, good hit there. So, profitable home run derby. By the way, country singer Ingrid, whatever her last name was. I mean, I was watching it. I was like, gonna text you, and I was like, "Are you watching this?" And I was like, "Thank God no one was around me." I was looking around, and I was like, kind of like had the same expression as some of the players did. Shout out Fergie on the All-Star game. because it kind of reminded me of that, where the players were kind of like laughing, like, is this serious? And then I go on Twitter and Reddit, and I'm reading all these things, and everyone is destroying her. Rightfully so. I mean, she botched the job, but then she comes out and makes this, I guess, she kind of like defends herself a little bit and says, quote, "I'm not going to bullshit y'all." I was drunk last night. I'm checking myself into. I'm not laughing that she's checking herself in a facility. I'm drunk. I'm laughing that she started the statement. "I'm not gonna bullshit y'all. I was drunk last night. I'm checking myself into facility to get the help that I need. That was not me. I apologize to the MLB, to the fans, to the country I love so much. I'll let you know how rehab is. I hear it's super fun." So at least she recognizes it, and she is hopefully going to get the help that she deserves. But one, did you hear it? And two, thoughts on her kind of saying she's drunk?
Yes, I heard it, Dale. And to be honest, respect for her for admitting the wrongdoing. Since a lot of people would have, either just,
100%.
dusted, wiped it off their shoulders or just, ignored the fact. But the fact that she was able to take it on the chin and admit that she was wrong, that she was drunk, even if she wasn't drunk, she at least put that out there. Hey, Doug, in my opinion, if you're gonna take a job and that job requires you to perform, not just live, but live in front of millions of, maybe not millions, but I'm gonna say about 1 million people tuned in for the home run derby.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say about 1 million people. It's at least what, 60, 70K in the building, maybe a little more. I'm gonna say about 1 million people. If you're gonna accept the job to talk, not just talk, to sing in front of about 1 million people or more, don't you have the common courtesy to at least be professional? Like, from my standpoint, you gotta at least be professional, Dale. So I understand you want to have a good time, you want to enjoy yourself at All-Star game, but get the job done first. You had to do the anthem. You had about 3-4 hours to enjoy yourself. You was the opening act, and to me, that's why I'm like, come on, Ingrid, you got to do better. But at least you took it on the chin, apologize, and hopefully in a few months you'll be
all right.
You'll be all right.
Yeah, I agree and understand that. At least she admitted her wrongdoing, because a lot of people wouldn't. They'd be like, "Yo, I had a bad outing." No, she owned up to it, and I respect
I had
that.
COVID.
Or something. I think the bigger question is, who's screening this woman? Who allowed her to go there?
The management, whoever was in charge of that. To be fair, she's probably an amazing singer, Dale.
Yeah.
And not for that, I guarantee if we go on YouTube and Google her or YouTube her singing the national anthem, she probably done a great job somewhere else.
Yeah, absolutely. Just folded that night.
She was just not prepared. If she was honestly too drunk to perform, she was just unprofessional and unprepared. That's all.
100%.
Come down to the management fault. Whoever the manager is, fired.
Yeah, or the person in the I guess the who's in charge of the letting people onto the field in Ranger Stadium. But yeah, that was a crazy sight. But other than that, though, the All-Star game was much better. Didn't go under like we thought. It did go over the total, but the American League won again. They just owned the National League, kid. 10 of the last 11 All-Star games, the American League has won. We get there minus 118. Game goes over, but we do hit on the American League. Your boy, Jared Durant, got the MVP. I think he was 43-1 or 44-1. I saw at certain books, depending on what book you got it at. But I saw some people sprinkle a little on, and I mean, Jared Durant just absolutely crushing the ball this season. Had that game-winning home run. Shohei had a nice 3-run shot. I mean, the ball just flies off Shohei's bat. But overall, I thought it was a good All-Star game. My one critic, and I hate to be that old man, but like the uniforms are fucking atrocious. Can we go back to the old days, where we used to watch the All-Star game and everyone had, their own uniform? Yes, like Jared Durant, wear the Red Sox, the Met. It's like the Pro Bowl. Everyone has their own helmet, to unify what team they're on. I think that's what's so special. If you look up the American and National League, it's so despicable and ugly. Honestly, I was so turned off watching the game. I didn't want to watch, but I loved the All-Star game growing up. It was one of my favorite events. So I know a lot of people really don't like the All-Star game, but I think MLB actually does a really good job compared to other sports. But the uniforms, kid, they need to go back. They need to go back.
Yeah, I agree. To me, it should be everybody should wear their own uniform. And let's just say if they're playing in St. Louis, the national team wear home jerseys and the AL wears road jerseys. To me, that would be great. Overall, the All-Star game, to me, it was one of the more exciting ones in recent histories. Shohei hit a 3-1 shot, and then we actually saw one go over. Usually we see just, a great pitching matchups through both sides. And the fact that we saw more runs in this game than recent years, to me, that's exciting. So, like you said, shout out Jeff winning the MVP, Ohtani with the huge home run, AL with that, couple hits in that rally. So to me, it was just entertaining, Paul Skees dueling in the first inning. So
he's electric, kid.
Yeah, so like from what I expected to me, it was better than I expected it to be, Dale, because Paul Skees gives me exactly what I wanted to see in the first inning.
Yeah.
Ohtani, second at bat around, hits a shot, in the third inning. So the game was exciting to me. So that's the only thing that matters. The game is exciting. It's not a boring 3-2, 2-1 game.
Yeah, 100%. It was very exciting. It was kind of back and forth the whole game, and we got to see the matchup I think everyone was kind of waiting for in that first inning. We wanted to see Paul Skees versus Aaron Judge, and Juan Soto got the walk, and we saw him. The first fucking pitch he swung at, take a pitch, but he grounded out that first pitch to third base. But yeah, overall, I thought pitching was really good. I thought your boy Jared Duran, much deservingly so. The best closer, Emmanuel Clase of the Guardians, he closed it out with 2 strikeouts. So overall, I thought it was really good. I just didn't think 2 pitchers didn't perform well. And it was Hunter Green. He let up that big shot, and Logan Webb let up a 3 runs in that, I think, third inning as well. They both scored 3 runs in that third inning. So outside of those 2 pitchers, I thought it was really good from both sides. And American League, they just own the National League. So 10 out of the last 11. But let's go to the NBA, or no, the NFL, excuse me. Let's go to the NFL because I think there was more to talk about there. Browns kicker Dustin Hopkins, our boy, he reached an agreement on a 3-year, $16 million extension. He makes him one of the top 5 highest paid kickers. He's now tied to Cleveland through the 2023 season. Remember, Dustin Hopkins, he was once cut by Buffalo, New Orleans, Washington, and then he lost his starting job in LA with the Chargers, and then he was traded a year ago to the Browns. He's had a ton of success with Kevin Stefanski in Cleveland, and now he's one of the highest paid kickers. Obviously, Justin Tucker, the GOAT. He's the best. He's paid $6 million a year. Jake Elliott, another very good kicker in Philadelphia, he's at 6. Matt Gay, really good kicker, $5.62 million a year. Graham Gano. I laughed because we were watching the game last year. I was like, Graham Gano, he's good. And you looked at me and said, this guy don't miss. He's on my fantasy. So I remember Graham Gano, he's worth the $5 million. Then you got your boy Dustin Hopkins at $5.4 million per year. So he's a top 5 kicker in the league, kid.
Yeah, to me, it's a great deal for him and the Cleveland Browns, just because, like you said, he's been cut, traded from teams, and this past like two seasons for sure, Dustin has emerged as one of the best kickers in the NFL. He's been more consistent, in my opinion, throughout these last 2 seasons, and then honestly making the Cleveland Browns a better team. So shout out Hopkins. To me, he got a great deal, right as he deserves.
Yeah, 100%. And I think their kicking game has kind of bailed them out of a lot of things because they weren't, their quarterback goes down, their top 5 running back in the league goes down. They were forced to kick a lot of field goals last year, and I think he stepped up and he converted on a lot of them. I don't know the number off the top of my head. I'll go fish it out, but yeah, he's definitely worth the money. And, after seeing a guy get cut from 3 to 4 teams get traded, I mean, it's a nice redemption story. So I'm rooting for Dustin Hopkins, unless he's playing the Jets. But I think the biggest story here is the 49ers. We talked about him all throughout the summer. He's still a topic of conversation. Brandon Ayuk has requested a trade from the 49ers. Other teams have reached out, obviously, because he's a number 1 on other teams. They reached out to the 49ers, but reports from what Schefter and Ian Rappaport, they've all said, the 49ers have no interest in trading Brandon Ayuk. And the 49ers, they open up training camp next week. in the past, but this has been a kind of a pass. Remember, Debo requested a trade, Robbie Gould requested a trade, and they winded up reaching deals with the 49ers. So the 49ers, of all counts of right now, July 19th, they plan to keep Brandon Ayuk. They are a better football team. I think everyone can universally agree. They are a better team with Brandon Ayuk than without him. So my question is, one, do you think it gets resolved? I don't think it gets resolved by camp because camp starts next week. So I don't know if it gets resolved by then, but before week 1 or before preseason, do you think it gets done? And if not, I think the top people or the top teams after him, obviously we know his ties to the Commanders with Jaden Daniels and Arizona State. Steelers are a team that's been poked out there, and your Patriots. I think he would fit lovely with the Patriots. You guys don't really have a number one. So it's a two-part question. Does he get the deal done? And if not, out of those 3 teams, objectively, where do you think he could go?
Realistically, I think they get a job. They get the deal done. Just because I feel, don't get me wrong, they have Debo, they got George Kittle, they got CMC. You can make the case that's one of the best offense, around with Brock Purdy at the helm. And we already know they got Trent Will, the left tackle. Not going to get into that, but we already know 49ers as constructed right now without Brandon Ayuk is one of the best offensives in football. With Brandon Ayuk, I think you're no doubt Super Bowl contender. You're one of the best teams in the NFL, not just in your conference. And I think Brandon Ayuk is the type of player that sets you over the top when, let's just say Debo has to miss a couple of games, or George Kittle or somebody like that. Brandon Ayuk is there to pick up the slack. Yes, we all know Debo Samuel is that dog. He's the one that got the big contract already. But Brandon Ayuk is no pushover either. You could easily be a number one in any other team out there. Maybe, maybe not Cincinnati or the Vikings or Dallas, but guaranteed 80% of the league, he will be a number one. So I just feel like with the 49ers, they have to get this deal done if they want to get back to where they were last year, and that's the Super Bowl. So in my opinion, they got to get it done. And then if they don't get it done, it's just they choose to shop them, Bill. Realistically, I think the number one destination will be the Washington Commanders. Yeah. Like you said, he's already friends with the quarterback Jaden Daniels. And let's just say if he's looking for a payday, I highly doubt we'll give him the exact number he's looking for as the Patriots. But I wouldn't be shocked either the Patriots give him, $100 million, a 4-year deal or something like that. Just because we need a star player, we need somebody that's gonna elevate. Not just, if we go Jacoby Brissett, but Drake May, not just this year, but for the few more years to come. So I think it'll be a great move for the Patriots to land somebody like Brandon Ayuk. But realistically, I think he either go to the 49ers or just like a sneaky team out there, maybe like the Jaguars or Arizona. Hey, maybe even it's gonna be some team out there that's gonna be like, you know what, we'll give them like a 2nd or 3rd round pick to get Brandon Ayuk. So we'll see.
Yeah, I love the Arizona call. I think that would be really good. You guys really don't have a number one. You guys drafted the kid out of Washington, Jalen Pork, who's going to be plugged in right away, which he's good. But at the end of the day, he's a rookie. And there are some growing pains with that. I think the most, obviously, besides Hunter Henry, Kendron Bourne, I think that's like your number one right now. He has the most NFL experience. And yeah, he's a cool number 3, but he's not a 1. I mean, you plug Brandon Ayuk in, he's clearly your number 1, and he's going to elevate and make Drake May and have his life much easier. So, I mean, for you, I would love Brandon Ayuk, but I agree. I think, and like I said, Debo requested a trade. Robbie Gould requested a trade. They've done this. So they play hard to get Rob Lynch or,
But one thing I can honestly say, though, that might be holding them back, we saw they give him Debo a huge deal last year. We saw what they just gave CMC an extension. Mm-hmm. We all know Brock Purdy's gonna
eventually, yes.
He might set the all-time NFL record. Who knows? If he has let's just say the 49ers go back to an NFC Championship game, they're gonna have to pay Brock Purdy. They're gonna have to make him at least a top 3 highest paid.
Has to be.
He's gonna get over $50 million a year.
He's been to a Super Bowl in an NFC Championship in his first 2 years.
Yeah. Let's just say if he just wins the division, gets eliminated divisional round,
they're still paying him.
He's a $50 million quarterback deal. So maybe that's that. Maybe that they're like, you know what? We gave CMC. We paying Trent. We paying the defensive guys as well.
Mhm.
And then you got Debo, you got George Kittle, and then you got Brock Purdy. He's gonna want the mother load. Well, not want. He deserves
Yeah, yeah,
whatever he
yeah.
wants. So maybe that's what it's gonna come down to. Maybe it's like, you know what? If we can get Brock Purdy to take a hometown discount, we won't be able to afford the two. So let's just dish out Brandon Ayuk now and just save the money for next year to give Brock Purdy what he wants, what he
On that
deserves.
on that playoff run last year, remember when Brock Purdy hit Brandon Ayuk deep and he juggled the ball and laid
No,
out for it?
they deflected the ball and he caught it.
Oh
The
my
DB from the
yeah.
Lions was supposed to catch it. He catches that ball. The Lions are in the
The
Super Bowl,
Super
people.
Bowl. Yeah, what a catch. BA, man. I know you didn't start it because I'm not even gonna ask, but I saw receivers. I watched it through, and obviously they followed George Kittle and Debo, and they're on the sideline and they go, "No fucking way, BA just caught that." They were all tripping out, like, and they know his talent. The guy's a top 10, 15 receiver in the league. And I'm not sugarcoating it. It is what it is. So yeah, I think they get the deal done. But it's unfortunate that they had to play this game, and they're playing hard to get, but it is what it is. Speaking of playing hard to get, I feel like Caleb Williams was playing hard to get, but he finally signed his 4-year deal, fully guaranteed, $39 million, $25.5 million at signing bonus. He does have the 5th-year option as well. They also locked up their number 8th overall pick, Roman Adunze. 4 years, fully guaranteed, $22 million. It's a $13 million signing bonus. He also has a 5th-year option. But Ryan Poole, man, he really he gave Caleb Williams all the tools he needed to succeed his rookie year. So I'm excited to see what comes out of Chicago this year.
Yeah, we both know these deals are gonna get done. It's just when and what was the number. So I'm glad they got them basically both done at the same time. And we both know, Dale, this could possibly end up being something special. A nice dual building in Chicago. So I'm just glad they got it done. And let's just see how they look on the field, because I'm interested to see.
Yeah, I am too. I can't wait. Caleb Williams. I was watching something, and they were like, what division has the best quarterbacks? And someone made a case of the NFC North, and they said, off the potential of what people expect Caleb Williams to be, that should be the best. And I was like, I don't know. People said the AFC West. I don't know. Just think about that. Maybe we'll talk about that in a different day.
I'm gonna have to say AFC North.
People said that, but they were like, is Russ the same?
It don't matter. You got Deshaun, Joe, and Lamar.
Lamar never been to a Super Bowl.
Don't matter. He's the reigning MVP.
I know, but they I guess the argument was they were looking at success, and the only people who have success is Russell Wilson back in the day when he wasn't even in the AFC North, and Joe Burrow made it to the AFC. He made it to the Super Bowl one time, and he beat Patrick Mahomes. So
yeah, but in NFC North, you got a rookie in JJ. You got Jordan Love with 1 playoff win. Or 2 playoff wins.
2. Stop playing with my man.
No, he got 1. He got 1. He lost to Detroit.
Oh yeah. He beat Dallas. Yeah.
And then Jared Goff,
Super Bowl.
Who a year ago you said he was not it.
I don't know if it was a year. I think it was like 3 or 4 years when he was with LA. When he was with LA, I wasn't on him.
You laughed at me.
Nah,
you said that
I've come around on Jared Goff. I said that.
But I'm just saying, on the record, a year ago, you and half of America was like, he's not it. Let's just be honest.
I don't know if it was a year. I call cap on that. Maybe 3 years ago, yes. But last year, I've recognized he's legit. I admit that. He's legit. He's the best quarterback in that division. You got a rookie in JJ McCarthy, got a rookie in Caleb Williams, and then Jordan Love, who's kind of proven himself.
He's emerging. He's emerging as a top 10 quarterback, Dale. I'm telling you right now. Jordan Love will be in the top 10 conversation by week 10.
I think it was either the AFC North, and I think that's the easy pick to make. I honestly could make an argument the NFC West. Remember,
I could make
Matthew Stafford won.
AFC South.
Go. AFC South. We'll talk about that in a sec. NFC North. Matthew Stafford won a Super Bowl. Kyler Murray, I'm still high on him. I can't wait to talk about the Cardinals because I expect big things out of Kyler Murray this year. Geno Smith resurgent of a career. People counted him out. And we know how Brock Purdy, we just talked about how good he is. Top 5 quarterback.
You got in the South, you got Trevor Lawrence, CJ Stroud, who I think is special. Anthony Richardson, who has the potential.
He's injured.
To be something special. And then
your guy, Will Levis.
Will Levis.
You're high on Will Levis. Let's call it what it is.
No,
You're high
no.
on them.
I wouldn't say I'm high on Will Levis, but he played much better than I anticipated.
100%. I think we could agree on that.
So anybody that plays much better than he played better than Bryce Young, in my opinion.
Oh, 100%.
So the fact that that I like him more than Bryce Young moving forward, to me, that says a lot. That just says a lot.
I think the wild card, the unknown, and because he hasn't played, is Anthony Richardson. But the potential is there, and I think a lot of people
we saw it for 3 games, though.
Yeah.
The kid's a baller. The kid's a baller.
And I appreciate it. He gives everything he has on the field, which
I just hope the coach, just adjusts his play calling a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
Yeah, but it was an interesting topic, and I think there's a debate or a conversation for each division that we just talked about. And then lastly, Denver Broncos, their guard Quinn Myers. He started all 39 games since being selected out of Wisconsin Whitewater in the 3rd round back in 2021. Signed a 4-year, $80 million extension, $45 million guaranteed, ties him to Denver till 2028. He is now tied for the 3rd highest guard in the league. Obviously, number 1 is Landon Dickerson out of Philadelphia. He's probably one of the best guards in the league. He makes $21 million a year. Chris Lindstrom of the Falcons, another really good guard. He makes $20.5. And then Quinn Myers and Robert Hunt of the Panthers. Oh, and Quentin Nelson, obviously, of the Colts. All 3 of them make $20 million a year. So he's a top 5 guard, and it's a great story. Wisconsin Whitewater is a D3 school. He played Rob School. They played Wesley. That's the type of school Whitewater is, but they always win the D3 championship, Whitewater. So they're like a really good D3 school. So it's cool to see. You know, he hits an $80 million contract. Those don't come out of D3 schools a lot.
Yeah, shout out him. Definitely one of the best guards in all of football. And it just shows you that the Broncos are going to, protect their 1st-round pick or your boy Zach Wilson. So shout out to the Broncos taking care of one of the best guards in all of football. You're muted.
I'm not
going
to.
He might protect Zach Wilson week 1.
I was just going to say, I'm rooting for Zach. I'm rooting for my boy when we play him. But shout out Quinn Myers. Definitely deserved it. And, he's getting paid like a top 5 guard in the league. Let's go to the NBA. Big signing of Milwaukee. Gary Trent Jr., a guy we talked about that I would love for the Knicks to sign. He took a 1-year deal with the Milwaukee Bucks. He reunites with Damian Lillard. He's going to go and chase a title. And I don't blame him. And Gary Trent, fun fact, he is one of 4 players to record at least 500 made threes and 300 steals in the last 3 years. Can you name the other 3 players?
500 threes
and 300 steals.
And 300 steals.
Gary Trent Jr.'s 1, and then you have 3 more.
500 threes. 300 steals. The steals, that's the tough.
That's crazy, right?
Chris Paul?
No.
Wow.
They're all younger guys.
All younger guys. All young. Trae Young?
No.
Damn. 500 threes.
1 in the East, 2 in the West.
Ja?
No.
Nah, he has to be 500.
No, he's suspended.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Young.
I'll say this. 1 made a deep run.
Oh, so Luka?
No.
What?
I'll give you 1. Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards? Yeah, he gets a lot of steals, but damn, 500 threes? I didn't know he made that many threes. And who's in the East? Not Trae Young. That gets a lot of steals. Drew Holiday.
No. Tyrese Halliburton.
Wow, I'm done.
And then the last one was Fred VanVleet.
Wow, Fred VanVleet. Wow.
So shout out him.
That makes sense. I didn't know he had 300 steals, though.
Yeah, I think that was like the kicker. But that's a crazy stat. Gary Trent Jr. is amongst all those, and these are all all-stars. Let's not forget that. Anthony Edwards, top 5, top 10 player in the league. Tyrese Halliburton, I hate him, but you got to give him credit where it's due. He's a really good guard. And Fred VanVleet is a baller, a champion as well. So he's amongst really good players. Are you surprised he went to Milwaukee on a 1-year deal? Because, I mean, I'm no agent and I'm no insider, but I guarantee you he had other offers on the table for more money.
I'm a little bit surprised the fact that he even signed a 1-year deal. To me, I think Gary Trent is a phenomenal player. Like I've been saying it for months still. To me, every championship team needs a guy off the bench like a Gary Trent, like a Norman Powell, like a Bruce Brown, somebody that's gonna come in, be energetic, put the ball in the basket, and that's what he could do, Dill. So to me, this is a great signing for the Milwaukee Bucks. Still.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he has familiarity now with Damian Lillard going back to his Portland days, so he kind of wanted to reunite with Damian Lillard, and I respect that. Go chase your ring. Go on a 1-year deal. And if it doesn't work out for Milwaukee, I think they could move on from him. But yeah, I was actually very surprised. I wanted the Knicks to get him. We had a coaching hire as well. The Lakers, Lindsey Harding, the G League Coach of the Year. She agreed to become the assistant coach for the Los Angeles Lakers. She leaves the Kings to join JJ Redick. She spent time with him on the 76ers. She was like I don't want to say intern, but she was a coach on the 76ers staff as well. She's an All-American at Duke when she played back in college. This is the 4 coaches so far. JJ Redick, you got Lindsey Harding, Scott Brooks from the Trailblazers in OKC. You got Nate McMillan as well from Atlanta. You got some guys and women now there in LA. Do you like what they're kind of building? I feel like they're kind of building a different culture.
To be honest, though, I didn't love the JJ Redick hiring at first, but to see the staff that they're building around, to me, overall is a great hire. You know, I think Scott Brooks, to me, I'm surprised he's not an NBA coach to me. Great mind. Nate McMillan, not the most popular man out there, but he's a great, solid, good head coach out there.
Yeah, solid.
And then, like you said with, what was the name again?
Lindsey Harding.
Lindsey, I didn't want to. With Lindsey Dill, personally, she's a great mind and she could possibly add something else to the Lakers rotation. So I feel like bringing in new minds, fresh coaches is always helps. So the fact that you got a mixture of veteran head coaches with young, with JJ, with Lindsey, I think is great deal. So shout out Scott Brooks, shout out McMillan. I think JJ Redick has a pretty good staff around.
Yeah, and I don't think they're done. If I'm being honest, I think they'll bring on 1 or 2 more pieces. But yeah, I like what they're building there. And
she was call my boy Frankie V.
Yeah. I mean, she was the G League Coach of the Year. She has experience. She's an All-American as a player. She spent time in 76ers with Doc. I mean, she has all
pro.
Yeah, she has the experience. So I actually really like it. I'm glad she's getting an opportunity at a really big time organization. So shout out Lindsey Harding. My Knicks, I talked about, hey, we missed out on him, but we signed one even better. Cameron Payne, baby, 1-year deal, $3.1 million. Nice little depth to our backcourt. He was a killer in the playoffs. Coming off the bench, just dagging some threes in our face. I hated that guy, but now he's a Knicks, so I welcome him.
Yeah, Cameron Payne, he always comes off the bench. Sometimes he's able to electrify and hit a couple big shots for you. So I think Cameron Payne, one playoff game, he will come off the bench and give you about 12 to 15. He's very capable of doing it.
Some surprising news also that broke. I didn't realize, Kyrie, his hand was fucked up. He went undergo surgery to repair his broken left hand. Thankfully, it's not his most dominant, but he sustained it earlier in the month while training, apparently. But he's expected to be ready and full go in October when they start. But yeah, it was that kind of just random. It was like, oh shit, Kyrie broke his left hand.
Yeah, it sucks. He was probably, practicing, working on something, and it just happened to break. So hopefully Kyrie's good and ready by, late August, early September, and he'll be ready for camp.
Yeah, 100%. And then the biggest news over the week that just happened, I think today, Los Angeles Clippers, they sent guard Russell Westbrook and a 2nd-round pick swap and cash to Utah in a signing trade agreement for Chris Dunn. Westbrook, he got bought out with the Jazz. He's cleared waivers, and he is expected to join the Denver Nuggets after clearing waivers. And, the expectation is that he will join Denver within the next 24 to 48 hours once he clears waivers. And, it brings to Denver another veteran bolster on the bench and he's available to spot start if they need him to come in and start a game. So I love the move. It's the second time he's actually been bought out from Utah, which is amazing to see. But I actually love the move for Denver as well, and I like the fresh start for Kendrick Dunn in Clippers. He joined the Clippers on a 3-year deal. He has a team option, and in 88 games in 2 seasons, Chris Dunn, excuse me. He averaged 5.4 points, 3.8 assists, and 2.9 rebounds in 19 minutes last season. So some productivity, but I like the fresh start for him, and I love the move for Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, Dale, this is a nice move. I don't love it just because it's Russ. And to answer your question, though, Russ will start about 15 to 20 games. We know Jamal Murray always has some injury that lingers throughout the season, so he's gonna miss a couple games. And I think that's why they got Russ. Still, they need somebody who's gonna be able to come off the bench, give you 15 to 25 minutes a night, be energetic when needed, get you rebounds, get you assists, get you those buckets as well. But when Jamal Murray, or if Jamal Murray is injured and let's just say he's out for 20 games, you have a guy who could easily just step up and be a starter for your team and don't need to adjust. And that's Russell Westbrook, though. A lot of people can say what they want about Russ, but one thing I can guarantee about Russ, he's gonna play with his all every night, and he's gonna give you about 75 to possibly 80 games a season.
Yeah.
He doesn't really get hurt. He's gonna be there night in and night out, and he's, to me, in my opinion, he's becoming a team player now. He knows his role. He understands he's not the once MVP, Mr. Triple Double Russell Westbrook in OKC, or even the guy we saw in Washington or in Houston. But I think Russell Westbrook could honestly be a key piece for this Denver team. Maybe they're really listening to me, Dylan, and it was like, yeah, I need to get Bruce Brown back. Look, they got something close enough. Russell Westbrook.
And as much as we love Jamal Murray, he does get hurt a lot. And like I said, he could come in, he could start. He has the experience. He has the playoff experience as well. And, he's going to get Joker the ball. He's going to get...
Give him the minutes, he's going to average about 8 to 10 assists.
Yeah.
He will average 6 to 8 turnovers, but you gotta come with it.
It comes with it. By the way, Dan just sent us over the video. Hulk Hogan just gave the most electric speech at the RNC.
I believe it.
And he goes, quote, "All you drug dealers and all you crooked politicians need to answer one question and one question only, brother. What you gonna do when Donald Trump and all the Trumpomaniacs run wild on you, brother?"
Oh no, I gotta see it. I gotta see that.
I'll send it to you. And all you have is Trump going like this, and he blew him a kiss. Legend. Absolute legend. Oh my God, I gotta watch that. All right.
Shout out Hulk Hogan. Shout out Hulk Hogan. I think Dana White is.
Dana White was there. Tucker Carlson was there as well. He made a speech. All the legends.
Isn't it ironic? Tucker Carlson just made a speech, and guess who aired it? Fox.
That's like such a flex too.
Yeah.
Let's go to the WNBA. Angel Reese, obviously, unfortunately, she her double digit streak snapped over the weekend, but she was right back on it. She recorded another double and a big win on the road against one of the best teams, the Las Vegas Aces. You had Usher in the building as well. She kind of like called her out. Her and Asia Wilson was like, you know what? Why doesn't he come to our games? Next game, he heard it and he was there. So it was pretty cool that Usher was there. But Angel Reese back on track. And then, she just one ups her. I mean, Caitlin Clark, 19 assists. They lost, but I mean, she broke the WNBA record. Courtney Vandersloot, she had 18 in a single game. It was the most. And then Caitlin Clark, her rookie year, broke it with 19. As of right now, the rookie of the year, minus 2,000, Caitlin Clark, plus 700 for Angel Reese. It's over. She just broke the record.
It's over. I think she got it. See if they both setting records as rookies. We knew what Caitlin Clark was gonna be. Coming into year one, I think Angela Reese exceeding expectations in year one, but we can't deny it. 19 assists, setting the record. She also gave you 24 points. I understand they lost people, but nobody expected a Fever to win 25 plus games this season. So give Caitlin Clark her flowers and Angela Reese as well, because to be honest, both women deserve the Rookie of the Year, but we can't deny what Caitlin Clark is doing.
No, not at all. And, it's the playoff break. And we were just talking about before we went live. They're returning.
All-Star break. All-Star
What
break.
did I say?
Playoff.
I was gonna say the playoff record or the playoff picture right now would be number 1 seed. You have the Liberty, 2 Connecticut Sun, 3 Minnesota, 4 Seattle, 5 the Aces, 6 Mercury, 7th Fever, and 8 Sky. So both Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark right now have their team into the playoffs.
And as of right now, looking like they will remain. They both have 3 games clear of Atlanta in that 9th seed.
Exactly. So, yeah, I think they're both doing a really good job of their own, both exceeding expectation. I mean, we all kind of knew what Caitlin Clark was going to be, but also a crazy stat. The Fever have featured in 11 of the 12 most watched WNBA games this season. That's the Caitlin Clark effect. Mm-hmm. Like I said, when I'm watching the Fever, you have fans of other teams huddling around her for autographs. People are coming out to see Caitlin Clark. So Caitlin Clark effect is in full effect right now. That I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but yeah, minus 2,000 is crazy. You got to put a little respect on Angel Reese. I mean, what she's doing is also insane. And I think there's an argument to me that she's actually played a little better at times than Caitlin Clark. So we'll see there. It will pan out. But yeah, they go on break, I think, because of the Olympics starting next week. I think that's what you were saying.
Olympic break, so they'll be back in about 3 weeks. First game's back is about August 15th on a Thursday. So nice little break for the WNBA.
Yeah, 100%. So we'll be sure to check back on them. I think the first date is August 15th. They're back. So before we get into these plays, we are brought to you each and every episode by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market. Hands down. There's no wonder why Viva was voted number 1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV, Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like how we like our lives. Whether it's Huckleberry playing a round of golf with the boys or in Elderberry watching the WNBA All-Star game, it doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with that Artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at the Dream Wager and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. All right, kid, let's get to our plays. Like I said, 14 games here on the diamond for today. We got some day baseball. It is in Chicago at Wrigley Field. Got the Cubs and the Diamondbacks, but it kind of reminds me of like opening day. We had that little reset, kind of like opening day. It's bad, Elvis, when I like a lot on the card. So that I'll say that real quick. But why don't you lead us off, kid? What's your first play of the day?
First play of the day. Let's go. 6:40 start in Pittsburgh. We're going to Philadelphia Phillies taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. You got Aaron Nola on the mound. You got Perez going for the Pirates. Over under sitting at 8 even. Give me the Philadelphia Phillies on the road, minus 135 on the money line. I think the Philadelphia Phillies are live to possibly, hang them up and become World Series champs. Wow. I think they're one of the best teams in the NL. Dale, we got to start speaking about it. It's the second half of the season now, Dale. I think this Philadelphia Phillies going to make that push, and I think we're going to start seeing it in this month in July, Dale. So give me the Philadelphia Phillies on the road, minus 135.
I think that was Derek Jeter's pick to win the World Series at the All-Star game. They asked him what his World Series.
I give him a shot, Dale. Definitely one of my favorite teams in the AL.
Yeah, and all the past years that they made to the World Series and they had those big runs a few years ago. And also their bullpen was atrocious. This year, their bullpen is actually good. So as much as I hate to agree, and I do think they are one of the
Kyle
best.
Schwarber is healthy.
And Bryce Harper, yeah.
Their lineup is capable of doing anything come October.
100%. And they have a really good rotation. Their top 3 with Ranger Suarez, Christopher Sanchez, Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler. They have actually 4 starters who are really fucking good. So, yeah, let's not talk about the Phillies. But I do agree. Minus 154 right now is a little chalky. I got it earlier at minus 130. I agree. Even with Martin Perez on the bump for Pittsburgh, Philly coming back. Think this is a good spot for them. A little chalky, but I still would take them. I do like the Cubs here in that first game at 12:20 Eastern. I like Justin Steele. He's really turned into his old form as well. Cubs usually when they come back for the All-Star game, they're 15-4 last 19 games coming back from the All-Star break at home against the D-backs, who really don't hit lefties all that well. I think the wrong team is favored. I know it's minus 108 both ways, but I got plus money earlier in the day from the Cubs. I'm going to take them. They're one of my dogs of the day. I like a lot of dogs. So, my second play is going to be the Chicago Cubs. What's your next play?
Next play, though, let's go to Cleveland. The San Diego Padres taking on the Cleveland Guardians. You got Waldro on the mound taking on Bigby. Over under sitting at 8 even again. I'm gonna go with Bigby on the mound. Give me the Guardians minus 134 on the money line. Look at, we're on both teams 1-5, 1-4 in their last 5. Not loving how either has been playing as of late, but I just feel like Guardians are just a little better of a club. Don't get me wrong, the Padres been looking better. Let's just say last month or so, but I just feel like the Indians at home coming off the break, they're gonna get it back rolling. I think they take care of business at home. So give me Bigby and the Guardians minus 134 on the money line.
Next play for me, I am going to go out to Yankee Stadium. Garrett Cole and Zach Eflin taking on the Tampa Bay Rays. I'm going to go over 8. I just think the number is extremely short. I got a 7.5 earlier in the day, a little chalky at minus 130. Even at an 8, I mean, the Yankees have been an over team for most of the year, especially at home. Little league fence in right field. And we usually do see higher scoring games between these two clubs. If you look at a lot of the games between the two, we see a lot of overs. Garrett Cole hasn't looked good since coming back. I wonder how he'll perform at home coming off the break. And Rays, they average more runs. They hit better on the road than they do at home. And Zach Eflin, career-wise, he has had good success against the Yankees. I think the Rays are alive here at plus 140, plus 150, depending on what you get. But he's given up 3+ runs on the road in 7 of his last 8 road starts. So I'm rooting for some runs. I'm going to go over 8 in my third play. What's next for you, kid?
My last play of the day, we go to Atlanta, Dill. You got St. Louis Cardinals taking on the Atlanta Braves. Your boy Sonny Gray's on the mound. I'm not even going to botch the pitcher for the Braves. Over under sitting at 7.5. Braves favorite at minus 130 on the money line. Dill, I'm going to go with the Braves on the money line. Dill, don't get me wrong. Sonny Gray on the mound. Respectable. Got to respect it. But I feel like Atlanta at home is just a tough place to play. I'm going to take Atlanta at home, Dill. Give me minus 130.
Next play for me, I got 2 left. I'm going to go to the Toronto Blue Jay game. Chris Bassett going and Jack Flaherty going for the Tigers. I like the Tigers here on the road. I'll say that, but I like Jack Flaherty over 5.5 strikeouts. I mean, this number is just too small. Minus 105. Flaherty's been over this in 13 of 15 starts. Tougher matchup. Toronto doesn't strike out as much, but higher rate against righties than lefties. And plus Flaherty, great numbers versus this lineup. And, the long layoff likely, kind of going to hurt the hitters more than the pitchers, I think. So I think they might come in a little sluggish, looking to attack the ball, and over 5.5 strikeouts. I like this prop for Jack Flaherty and the Tigers. And then last play for me, I'm going to take the Mets. I got them a little earlier, minus 130, minus 144 right now. I still think that's playable. It's a little chalky, but I think Sean Manaea, look at his numbers. I know a lot of people really don't like to back Sean Manaea just based on his name, but he's looked really good, kid. I mean, last couple games in July, only 1 run let up against lefties. It's an automatic loss for Miami. They just don't hit lefties at all. On the road, at home, they're not good either. So, and Mets, they lead the league in runs scored per game on the road, 5.5 runs scored on the road. So I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I think the Mets win comfortably here. So if you want to take them on the run line, I like that as well. You could get that at a plus 114, but I'm just going to play it safe, and I'm going to take the Mets on the money line. Any other leans or any other games you want to touch on real quick before we get to the NFL?
Yeah, though, real quick, I'm honest about this one as well. I think the dog of the day tomorrow, just not forcing it. It's the Boston Red Sox at plus 120.
Oh my god!
Against the Los Angeles Dodgers, though. You got Pivetta on the mound. Don't get me wrong, Dill, but the Boston Red Sox has been the best team in baseball since May 19th or May 20th. You can't deny how bad the Dodgers look the week before the All-Star break. Let's just be honest, Dill. They look bad. Boston Red Sox looked very good. I can make the case they're the best team in the baseball. So I think the Boston Red Sox are just a little better right now than the Los Angeles Dodgers. Are you disagreeing with that? I don't think too many people would. From what we just saw in the last 2 weeks, still, who's been a better club?
The Red Sox.
The Boston Red Sox. So don't get wrong. Could the Dodgers turn it around and score 9 runs on us tomorrow? Absolutely. I just feel like the Boston Red Sox might score 10.
I just don't trust Pavetta.
No, me either. But you trust Stone?
Gavin Stone, I don't trust either. If I'm being honest, I just need a better than plus 120. I don't know if you see something different, but
no, it's plus 120. That's why I didn't force it. But don't get me wrong, I do think we're the dog.
If they gave me a plus 135, plus 140, oh yeah, I think they're live with that lineup.
It's the best team in baseball. They don't get no plus 135.
I don't know if they're best team. They're definitely. I'll say this: I recorded an MLB show yesterday. They're one of my most surprising teams in the first half. I mean, they were projected to finish 4th in the league. They're live to make the playoffs. To make the playoffs right now is
the division. We're 4.5 games back.
Yeah, I know. And look, let's not forget the Texas Rangers made a run last year, and they were just a wild card team. Who's to say the Red Sox can't make a run? So no, I agree. I think they're one of the biggest surprises of the AL.
Our over/under win total was 70.5 games.
Oh yeah,
last year was 79. I hit the over. This year was 78.
Hit the over. Yeah. So yeah, no, Red Sox have been one of the biggest surprises in the MLB for sure. The pitching and the offense. I mean, and Rafael Devers, Jared Duran. You're gonna have to pay those guys, and you should. They deserve it. All right, kid, let's go to the NFL. We will start with your Patriots. No way. I had my book. I had all my notes, and I don't have it with me. It's all good. We'll wing this. But yeah, we'll start with the Patriots. Really not much to talk about if I'm being fair and honest. I mean, we could start there. New head coach Jared Mayo. We got a new offensive coordinator, Alex Van Pelt. He was the offensive coordinator last year for Cleveland. And you have DeMarcus Covington, new defensive coordinator. He was your D-line coach last year as well. You're bringing Jacoby Brissett to back up Drake May. KJ Osborne as well, wide receiver from Minnesota. Antonio Gibson as well in the running back to back up Ramondre Stevenson. Obviously, you guys draft Drake May in the first round. You get that wide receiver from Washington, Polk. He's going to be plugged in right there. You get some offensive tackle help in the 3rd round from Penn State, Camden Wallace. I think he'll be plugged right away in. So you got a tough schedule, though, kid. That's what I'll say off the top of the head. I think, let me double check because I don't have my notes in front of me. Yeah, it's the 2nd hardest schedule according to the nerds. Based on the schedule, it's the 31st hardest schedule, and it's right off the gate. You know, away on the road against Joe Burrow, healthy, looking for some revengeance, down year last year. It's going to be tough too, kid. You know, you lose J.C. Jackson, you lose Devontae Parker, you lose your quarterback, Mac Jones, but you replace him with a stud. You're not favored in any games this season. That's the worry part for me. You're not favored in any games. Obviously, everything's subject to change for next season, but you know, we're not going to touch, right? I mean, I don't want to speak for you. It is your team, but are we going to touch the Super Bowl or like the division or AFC, right? There's no need to touch that, right?
I'm not delusional. I'm not like, you know, some liberals out there, you know, realistically, this might be the worst year I probably will witness as a Patriots fan, but it's okay. You know why? For all my Patriots fans, real loyal Patriots fan listening out there, it's okay. We had a ton of success. We had a great run. Guess what? We're going to have one bad year. We're going to get another top 3 pick. Highly doubt, but I wouldn't be that upset. Possibly the number 1 overall pick. And I think we'll be just fine. But for all the Patriots fans listening out there, buckle up. It's going to be a tough year. So
let's start with the win total because it is at 4.5. Over minus 150. Under is at plus 122. And even though there are a ton of, you know, building blocks and I guess speed bumps in the way, low key, I still like the over. I mean, Gerard Mayo, I think he's going to be a good coach. It's the Patriot way, but they were one of the worst offensive coach teams last season under Bill O'Brien. I mean, the offensive play action, they had the 4th highest run rate on 2nd and 10. They were way too predictable. I think that was the problem. You got to bring a new offensive coordinator from Cleveland, Alex Van Pelt. He does a lot of work with the new offense. I think the offense will be better. I know there's not a ton of talent. I do like the running back, Ramondre Stevenson. I like Kendrick Bourne a little bit. Hunter Henry, he's a solid tight end. And I also think you guys are going to see some positive regression because you guys dealt with a lot of injuries last season as well. You guys were the second most injured team in 2023. So it's hard to win games in the NFL, period. It's hard. It's even harder to win games in the NFL when you're down your starters. So I think that's what hurt them. I think you guys are going to have better luck there. And there's no way of sugarcoating it. I think you could agree. I think most Patriot fans, CT as well. The Patriots were a bad team 2023, but there was a lot of less. The turnover margin wasn't good. Kicking success wasn't good. You guys turned the ball over a ton last year. They were dead last in field goal percentage and field goal luck last season. So, I think you guys are going to be less injured. I think the offensive play calling is going to be a lot less predictable. And I think you guys are going to improve on your field goal kicking as well. So it might swing some games in different direction. And we all know how good the defense is. I think the best core of your team is your secondary. It's a top 10 secondary in the league. I think your front seven, middle of the pack, maybe towards the top 10. I like your front seven. I like your running back room. You bring back Ramondre Stevenson. You give him on a nice friendly deal. Antonio Gibson backs him up. I think the biggest question mark is going to be Drake May, the offensive line, and your receivers. All ranked. Offensive line is ranked 30th in the league. Quarterback ranked 30th in the league. And receivers are ranked 32nd in the league. That is the big question mark. Can Alex Van Pelt, can he make some wiggle room? Can he win some games? Because I think you can. And I'll give you a game I really like. Week 2 at home against Seattle. I think you guys are live there. Honestly, I really do. Even on the road against Tennessee. I know you're high on Tennessee, but that's week 9. At a certain point, Drake May is going to have some stability. He's going to find some rhythm. The guy used to sling it, and I know it was college, but I think he has some success here. Even week 15 off a bye against Arizona, I think you guys are live there. So I think there are some winnable games here. And you always play the Jets. You always play the Bills. You always play Miami extremely hard. And you never know what could happen in division games. You truly never know. So the Jets might slip up. Miami might slip up. Who the hell knows? So I think there are more than 4 wins on here. I'm going to take a chance with you guys. I'm going to go over.
Yeah, Dale, I'm gonna take the over as well. I see some chance of possible slips ups. Like you mentioned, Tennessee, maybe week 2 against Seattle. I feel like the Rams possible win there. I understand we're not favored, but with Matt Stafford could have a sprained thumb or something. Who knows? I feel like against Chicago, you never know, could possibly go our way as well. I feel like you said, I feel like in the division, highly doubt, but there's a chance we could split down the road with most of the division. Maybe Miami, maybe the Jets, maybe the Bills, the Cardinals we're live against, and then we'll see how the Chargers look. There are a lot of key departures from the Chargers. We got to see how they look, on both sides of the ball. But like I said, I'm gonna go with the over. I feel like we could get to 5 wins. To go under, I think it'll be tough. To just win 3 or 4 games, I feel like we're too talented of a team, especially if we're coming back healthy. And let's not forget, I think Bill O'Brien had one of the worst play calling seasons in NFL history, in my opinion. I saw it firsthand. I think Bill O'Brien should never be a head coach or offensive head coach or offensive input ever again in the NFL level. So I just feel like offensively, we're gonna improve. We can't be worse than what we were last year offensively, and defensively, we're gonna be better. We were a top 10 defense last year. I think we'll be slightly better. I understand we don't have Bill Belichick, the defensive genius there, but we have Gerard Mayo, who knows the in and outs of that defense. So I feel like our defensively will be just fine. Definitely a top 10 defense. Offensively, I don't expect much, but I feel like we'll be better in week 8 than we were all of last season.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think towards the end of the season, it sucks. you're like the Jets. You get the bye week really late, week 14. Your average underdogs about 5.5 points per game, underdogs. And, in neutral sites that could flip. That could be like a 2-point game. And who's to say Chicago's not good this season? Like they could fall flat on their face. I think there are some opportunities to win. And yeah, like you said, Bill O'Brien. Oh my God. They ranked 31st last season in the red zone. 31st out of 32 teams. I mean, they were so predictable. I don't want to compare him to Adam Gase because Bill O'Brien has had more success, but 2nd and 10, you knew a run was coming. I mean, anybody did. You and I aren't even coaches, and we watch film, and we watch. How many hours of football do you and I watch? We knew a run was coming. I mean, at the end of the day, they kind of beat themselves a little bit, I thought. So I think with the new offensive coordinator, he had success in Cleveland. Even though he wasn't the play caller, he still had input. We know Kevin Stefanski calls the plays in Cleveland, but he had off. And, Jerome Mayo knows the Patriot way. So I'm going to take that. We're not going to talk playoffs unless you want to.
No.
Or no? Okay.
I'm not delusional.
Yeah. All right. And so the only really thing we could talk about, too, player prop wise, we got Rookie of the Year. We also have Drake May's passing prop. It's 2,350.5. Minus 112 both ways, Elvis. I was torn just because I really don't know what we're going to see offensively from this unit. It's ranked dead last in the league right now. I mean, yes, we're about a month and a half, 2 months away from the start of the season, so we'll see. It's going to get better, but I mean, it can't get worse than last season. I mean, it just can't.
It won't, Dale. And to be honest, before we even get to that, though, I'm gonna go with a prop. As of right now, Drake May is not listed as the starter. I think by the end of preseason, I'm gonna go with the kid, and I will start him over Jacoby Brissett. So,
he's definitely gonna start.
No, Vegas don't believe that though. As of right now, so Drake May to be the week 1 starter plus 254. And that's one of my plays. Give me Drake May.
That's free money. No free shout outs, but what book?
FD.
Okay, yeah. Good job abbreviating. I like that. All right, yeah, I'm gonna take that because there's no way you draft him at number 3 overall and he doesn't play.
Yeah, but the Patriot way will be not to start. No, I don't agree with it.
I feel you, but
I don't agree with it. All I'm saying is, the way we do things, it wouldn't shock me if he's not the week 1 starter. Jacoby Brissett, he's the vet. He's been there and done that. Him and Gerard were teammates.
Yeah.
Remember, Jacoby was also the quarterback in Cleveland with the OC.
Yeah, remember that great point. And remember, I was on record saying he might be the best backup in the league. Remember, I'm high on Jacoby. I love him.
Jacoby was doing his thing in Indianapolis a couple of years ago.
And I guarantee. Yeah, go.
No, I didn't lead up to 10+ win season or making the playoffs, but at times Jacoby Brissett showed not just the Patriots, not just the Colts, but the NFL, he could win games.
He's seen every coverage there is in the NFL. Drake May hasn't. So, yes, and he has the cannon. How many times did they sub out Deshaun Watson for a Hail Mary? They're going to put Jacoby in.
And not for that, Jacoby could run the ball as well. Yeah. Understand he ain't Lamar Jackson, but if you need, let's just say, 3rd and 2, you can give him a little option. He'll pick it up.
Yeah, but at plus money, I gotta take the rookie.
Yeah, gotta take Drake May at plus 250.
I didn't see that. That's a good prop.
On principle alone, 3rd overall pick. I understand if he was like, maybe JJ 14th, even though I think JJ will be the starter come week 1. I can see why he'll be plus money to be the week 1. But 3rd overall pick, I need you to be there off of the gun. If not, I would have drafted somebody else. I would have drafted Marvin. We wouldn't have the 32 ranked wide receiver room. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no, that's a fact that he hasn't even played a game. Rookie of the Year, offensive Rookie of the Year, he's ranked 8th, which I think is a little disrespectful. Now, I know he doesn't have the pieces around him like a JJ McCarthy, but 20-1 is insane for Drake May. I mean, Bo Nix is higher, and he might not even start, kid.
Let's just be honest, though. Drake May's arguably on the worst team out of all of them.
That's fair, yes.
Offensively. Yes. Those teams don't have over under 4.5. Drake May does. So you got to take now. I know it's funny to you. I'm gonna let you enjoy your laugh.
Because I have to.
And as a Patriots fan, I should let you enjoy it. Yeah. Because you've been through a lot, and I've witnessed greatness. So you know what? I'll take a year or 2 of
Yeah.
badness. So it's okay.
Mhm.
It's okay. It's okay.
I'll get my laughs in because at the end of the day, you guys are gonna get the last laugh in a couple of years. So I know
Hopefully.
how it's gonna go. So yeah, I don't think anything offensive rookie of the year. I agree he shouldn't be top 3, but 20-1 is I feel like is
A little
insane.
disrespectful. Yeah.
For him to have the most rookie passing yards, he is 5th at 19-1. Caleb Williams, obviously with the receiving core he has, he's the favorite at -115. Jaden Daniels plus 320. Bo Nix is I guess the big key. Are we just locked in that Bo Nix is going to start?
I think so. You know why? It's because remember Denver moved up to get him. It's not like, oh no, they sat back. They sat at this spot and it was able to land the guy they wanted.
Minnesota moved up to get
Yeah,
JJ.
in my opinion, I think so. Just because though, this might be Sean Payton's guy. You know, if Sean Payton, let's just say Sean Payton wanted this guy all along. Let's just say Sean Payton had a top 5 pick. What he would have took Bo Nix over, let's just say Drake May. Possibly, though. That might have just been his number 1 quarterback on the, well, maybe not Caleb Williams, but maybe his number 1 draft quarterback on the board. So I think with Sean Payton, anything is possible still. Anything's possible with Sean Payton.
100%.
And from what we saw last season, we're going to see a much better Sean Payton.
Oh, I mean, I hope so for his sake as well. So,
yeah,
nothing I'm really going to touch. I kind of wanted your opinion. Do you think he could go over 2,000, his passing yard prop?
If he starts week 1, absolutely. If he starts week 3, week 4, absolutely. But we put him after week 6, which I wouldn't be surprised we do. I think it'll be hard for him to go over that number with the receiving core we got right now. If we add Brandon Ayuk, possibly to make some noise, but with the receiving core we have right now and the fact that he's most likely not going to be the week 1 starter, I'll stay away from that or go under.
What about Ramondre Stevenson? Because I think that is your most talented player offensively. Worth the contract. I think you guys got him on a very friendly deal as well. Yeah, I think he took a pay cut because I think he could have gotten more. But 775 and a half. I always got to say the half. -112 both ways. Seems a little small. Now, I know you guys are ranked 30th out of 32 offensive line. I think that will be a concern. You guys drafted offensive tackle, back-to-back picks in rounds 3 and 4. You guys got the kid from A&M, Landon Robinson, as well. So a little more depth on the offensive line, but still, they're young kids. 775 and a half yards. What do you think about Ramondre Stevenson?
I feel like this number is too low. I understand, offensively, probably will be one of the worst offenses in football. Probably. But, Stevenson went over, I think, 1,000 yards last season. He had a couple. He had a great.
No. He had 619 rushing yards last season.
Oh, the year prior, I think he had around like 8.
Let me see. I'm getting his splits up right now. So 2023, like I said, he had 619. 2022 is the big year. He had 1,040 yards. And then his rookie year in 2021, still 600 yards.
Yeah.
He's averaging over 600 yards.
Yeah. So 2022, he had 1,000 yards last season, messed it up. But we saw what he was able to do year 1. 2022 with Mac Jones. I think he'll be with Drake May at the quarterback position. I think they'll be a little better. I think he'll open it up just because last season we were so one-dimensional. Like you said, if we knew we was going to run the ball, they knew we was going to run the ball. So I just feel like offensively, we're going to be more of a dual threat, passing and running the ball. I'm a little worried about our offensive line, yes, but I feel like if Stevenson is healthy and our OC's he's going to be better than Bill O'Brien. I feel like he will easily go over this number. He was able to do it 2 years ago, well over this number. I feel like with Drake May starting most of the games, new OC, I think he'll go over this number again.
Yeah, I'm going to take a flyer. I just think Ramondre Stevenson is a bull. He's a hard runner, and I think he could average around 4 or 5 yards a pop. So I'm gonna bank on him. I like this prop more. I like the plus money of him starting, but I like this prop way more than I do taking the over for Drake May's passing yards, because I do think out of the gate, like I said, you guys have a tough schedule. There might be some growing pains. He's gonna throw some picks, but I like that. I'd rather him force it and try than him get sacked and hurt. And that's what I don't want.
And let's not forget, people, we're gonna be a run first team
100%.
relying on our defense. Our
Yeah.
defense is going to lead to our offense. That's
Yeah.
how we're going to play. We're going to want short fields and have Drake May. We're going to run the ball, have him, a pass or two, get a field goal or touchdown. That's it. We're not going to force anything. We're going to play our strengths. That's our defense. Try to force a short field, and see what we could do there offensively. So I feel like Stevenson is going to get a lot of touches, especially the first few weeks of the season.
100%. You got to take some of the pressure off of Drake May early.
And let's not forget, we at times could run the fuck out of the ball. We could run the
100%.
ball really great. I don't know if it's a scheme or what it is, but at times we could run the game. We could dominate the time of possession. So if it ever gets like that, we have a lead. Come second half, we know the Patriots don't want to hesitate to run it 3 times down your throat, and Stevenson will most likely pick up the first down.
Yeah, they also did get the right tackle Chukwu Okafor as well on a $4 million deal as well to clear up the right side. So you guys tried to bring in, you drafted some help as well. So I agree. And I mean, look at the attempts that Ramondre Stevenson has averaged. He had 156 carries. That's 35th in the league last year. 2022, he had 210 carries. I don't know the number, but it had to be a top 15, top 10 in the league. And then 2021, his rookie year, they gave him the ball 140 times. They're going to give this guy 180 to 200 carries this season, bearing injury, correct? Mm-hmm. They have to.
Yeah, especially after we give him that nice contract deal. So.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's all I got for the Patriots.
Quick,
anything else?
Give me Stevenson over 4.5 touchdowns. I feel like this number is too low. He's going to get a bunch of goal line threats. I understand we have Antonio Gibson as well in the backfield. He'd probably be a 3rd-round back, but still 1st and goal, 2nd and goal, 3rd and goal. I still want Stevenson there. I think he goes over 4.5, even 5, possibly even 6 touchdowns still, to be honest. And then week 1, I'm going to take the +9 with the Patriots on the road, Dale. I feel like 9 is too many points to lay on week 1. I understand we're not good.
That's Joe Cool, though.
Hey, as of right now, T. Higgins not under contract. We'll see how that goes. No Joe Mixon. The offense going to be a little different now. Little different. We'll see how that defense looks still. I'll take the +9 week 1.
Yeah, it was insane. I mean, he had 5 touchdowns. He had 4 last year. And then his rookie year in 2022, both had 5 touchdowns. So definitely capable, even with Antonio Gibson in the backfield. All right, let's go to a team that we could actually talk about. The Miami Dolphins. Mike McDaniel, this is his 3rd year. You got Frank Smith as their offensive coordinator. He came in with Mike McDaniel as well. New DC, though, you got Anthony Weaver. It was the Baltimore defensive line coach. He is now their new DC. 2021, they were 9-8. 2022, they were 9-8. Last year, much better, 11-6. They made the playoffs as well. They lost Christian Wilkerson as well. They lost him to the Raiders. Robert Hunt as well, the right guard. Xavier Howard, he's out as well. Jerome Baker, linebacker, is out as well. They get really good guy, Kendall Fuller, cornerback from the Redskins, $7.5 million. They get Shaquille Barrett off the edge, Janu Smith as well. They get Odell, Jordan Poyer in their secondary as well. So they added a lot. Not the hardest schedule, I'll say. Much easier than the Patriots. I'll give them that. They have the 8th easiest schedule according to the Football Nerds. Out of 18 games, 17 games because of the bye, they are favored in 10 of the games. Win total 9.5. Super Bowl. Any sprinkle on the Super Bowl?
No. As of right now, I'm still not confident in the Miami Dolphins come playoff time. They got to prove me come playoff time. Great regular season team. Yeah. Come playoff time, that offense doesn't show up for some
24-1 to win the Super Bowl. So yeah, a little out there. But to win the AFC now, they are 7th. They're right under the Jets. 12-1 to come out of the AFC. Any value there?
To be honest, I think that with Patrick Mahomes, CJ, Lamar, Joe Burrow, I just feel like those top dogs there. And then you got, the other sneaky teams like, Texans who, could beat
Jets.
the Browns, the Steelers, the Jets. Respectfully, I give you that though. I think the Jets, if Aaron Rodgers is there come playoff time, that defense is gonna be great. Jets could possibly make some noise, but I just feel like the AFC is just too top heavy. If you're telling
Yeah.
me there's gonna be some injuries come playoff time, and the Miami Heat is the healthiest team coming in AFC, they have a shot there. But how's everything constructed right now? I just don't see that happening.
So you haven't given me a division winner, which is scary because there's only this team left. So I'm assuming this is your team at plus 210. They are the third ranked or the third best team to come out of it. Buffalo plus 165, Jets plus 185, Miami Dolphins plus 210. Is that your pick?
Give me the Miami Dolphins to win the AFC East at plus 210. Give me the Miami Dolphins over 9.5 wins at minus 122 deal. And it wouldn't shock me if this team gets back to 11 wins like they did last season. Let's just be honest. Ever since Mike McDaniels has joined the Miami Dolphins, it's been just one of the best offense around in the NFL. Tua took that next step. We've been talking about King Tua, MVP.
I trademarked that.
Yeah. Tua was an MVP conversation. They've been one of the most consistent and best rushing attacks in the NFL since Mike Daniels has joined. So offensively, I think Miami's going to be up there with the best offenses in football. Defensively, Dill, they made some great ads this offseason. Let's not forget your last trade deadline. They got Bradley Chubb. They got Ramsey as well coming back from injury. He's going to be 100% healthy. So with the, Poyer as well in the secondary, I think overall, on paper, they have a great defense. On field, let's see, come September, October, they have a chance to be a pretty good damn defense. And I already know they're going to be a top 10 offense, maybe top 5 when it comes to points per game for the Miami Dolphins. So, in my opinion, they're just a little more deep offensively than the rest of the AFC East. The Jets, great, but it's a lot of ifs there. Josh Allen, you lost. Josh Allen's still one of the best quarterbacks in football, but you lost Stephon Diggs, you lost Gabriel Davis. It's a question mark how good they're gonna look offensively. Also, a lot of key departures from the secondary as well defensively from the Buffalo. So to me, it doesn't make sense why they should be the favorite. But in my opinion, I think Miami should be the favorite to win the division. And I got to give them credit. Give me over 9.5 wins and 210 to win the division.
I'm not going to take a division winner just because I think we could get better odds in season with, that teams beating up on each other, but I don't hate the pick. Objectively, I don't. I think they're one of the best offenses in the league. No, I can't. And I love Mike McDaniel. I love him swaggy. I love him hitting a vape fucking pen on the field. I mean, he's my kind of guy. Now the one thing I would push back. Now I agree with the over 9.5. I took the over as well. I do think they could win 10, 11 games. One thing I'll agree with, they need to prove it more in the postseason. Going to a cold weather, they did not look good. They looked very one-dimensional. Secondary, I agree. They have a top 5 secondary. When healthy, they added Kendon Fuller as well, one of the top corners in the league. They get Michael Porter. Porter. Poyer, excuse me. Jordan Poyer. I'm not the biggest on their front 7. I want to see if they could create pressure on opposing quarterbacks. That is my big.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Their rushing attack ain't the best, but overall as a group, they're solid. Though it's just that's why I said come September on the field, come September, October, can they prove it to me? Secondary is stellar. Can that front 7 get after the quarterback?
That's my issue because losing Christian Wilkerson, and you could agree, he's one of the best upfront defensive players in the league. Losing him was a major loss. They had some injury concerns as well last year, rushing the passer. But like we agree, Jalen Ramsey, you get the star Kendon Fuller, who was one of the top corners in the league, the Commanders. They get Jordan Poyer as well. I like their secondary. I hate to admit it, but they do have a really good secondary. And also, you mentioned on the top what Mike McDaniel was able to do with and kind of reducing the injury risk of Tua. cutting down the time on passes. Out of 47 eligible quarterbacks, Tua went from 14th shortest time in 2022 to he was the second shortest in 2023. That increased Miami's offensive success rate by 4%, and it reduced the pressure rate for the quarterback by 8%. So with the offensive line kind of up in the air still, they have the 23rd ranked offensive line, 25th front seven. He with not the best offensive line, he needs to get the ball out quick. And obviously you got the guys on the outside. You got a good running game. I think he should do that. I think that was a great kind of fix by Mike McDaniel coming in there and kind of helping Tua out. And we all know how good their run game is. They increased the volume, and getting to the outside, I think, was the biggest thing. They doubled their success rate, increasing their first down rate. They improved their yards per play attempt compared to 22. And the Dolphins running back room, they ranked second in EPA per attempt, second in success rate, and third in yards and carry last season. They have the third best running back room with Raheem Morris and
Devon Achane.
Achane, thank you. So, and they even have my boy Berrios, Braxton Berrios, coming off the bench as well. But you got Odell, you got Jonnu Smith, the tight end. You got Tyreek Hill. You got Jalen Waddle. I mean, this is a hard offense to stop. I got to take the over. I was saying it softly, but I got to take the over. 9.5 is just, I think that's just too small. I think we see a similar year, 11-6. They do have a tougher schedule late, kind of like the Jets, easy, and they have a bye early. Week 6 bye, very early bye, but at the end, from Thanksgiving, they play the Packers on Thanksgiving in Green Bay.
Tough.
Then they're home against the Jets. Then they're away against Houston. Then they're home against the 49ers. And the last 2 games are away against Cleveland and against the Jets. That's
not good because those are cold areas late in Cleveland, late in New Jersey. Those are tough games for those Miami Dolphins.
And it's Thanksgiving is in Green Bay.
Yeah.
We know how,
and that's a frozen game.
Tundra.
It's gonna be freezing Thanksgiving in Green Bay.
Last 6 weeks are extremely tough, kid. They are only favored in one of those games,
and it's probably the game at home versus your Jets.
I'll see.
No, it might be it. I don't disrespect, but
yeah, it's against the Jets at home, 1 point favorite, and that could change. That's the last week, so. Yeah, I think they have a tougher stretch, but if they take care of business early on against the Seahawks, against the Patriots, the Cardinals, the Colts, the Raiders, these are games they need to blow these teams out. You know what I mean?
At least one.
At least one. Exactly. So, we're both bullish on the Dolphins. We like their win total over. I like them to make the playoffs again. What was the odd? It was -128. Good odds. You like them to make the playoffs again?
I think they're going to make the playoffs. Yeah, I think they're going to win the division. If not win the division, it's going to be tough getting a wild card spot if you don't win the division, but I think they'll get the job done.
All right. Let's go to the player props now because there's a ton of guys we could talk about. Let's start with the main guy, Tyreek Hill. To lead the league in receiving yards, plus 500. He is the leader right above Justin Jefferson at plus 750. You like Tyreek Hill if he could stay healthy to lead the league in receiving yards.
He did it last year, Dale. I think we got to give him a shot to go up. I highly doubt he'll be close to 2,000, but to lead the league, I think Tyreek has a chance. We saw Justin Jefferson. He got injured last year. Jamar Chase, to see what ends up there. I think he has a chance to do it as well. CD has a shot. Amon St. Brown has a shot.
Yeah. CD.
I'll say Tank Dell, Nico Collins, or Stephon Diggs. Whoever CJ has the best connection.
How about AJ Brown?
I don't know about
maybe.
They got Saquon. They might want to use the new toy a lot. Yeah. But personally, Dale, I think it's worth a sprinkle for Tyreek to lead the league just because he's always a threat to break it for 75 plus. You give him a screen, he could take it to the house. So I think it's worth a sprinkle for Tyreek to lead the league. Let's just start there. Give me Tyreek Hill over 75.5 receiving yards. To be honest, I think he gets at least 1,500. If he can miss 2-3 games, he'll get at least.
How mad do you think he was that he finished 1 yard to get 1,800 yards last season?
To be honest, I don't think he was that mad. I think he was more upset that he couldn't have a chance to get to 2,000.
Yeah. Great. I thought you were going to say he was more mad that they got eliminated. I was like, great football answer. But yeah, I agree. I think he goes over this. This is ridiculous short. I think he goes for 1,600 yards again. I think he leads the league in touchdowns again. I'm taking his over touchdowns. What was it? I just had 9.5. Yes, exactly. So at Tyreek Hill, 9.5 touchdowns at plus money. It's at plus 102. Last year he had 13. He led the league there. Had 119 catches as well. He was just a catch machine. I mean, he was so dominant. There was a point we were talking about him going for 2,000 yards, and he ran into that injury bug. I guarantee you, if he didn't get injured, bro, he was going for 2,000 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I agree. I think another big year out of Tyreek. I'm going to go over his receiving prop. I'm going to go over his touchdown prop as well. And I think the other big guy that they have is their number 2 out of Alabama is Jalen Waddle. His receiving prop. Why do they hang these numbers? And I think this is one of the pros at getting ahead of it. 1,500 for Jalen Waddle. I mean, are we not watching games since coming into the league? He has gone over this. 2021, 1,015 yards. 2022, he had 1,300 yards. Last year was a down year, but he still went over 1,000 yards. He is like Mike Evans, just gets 1,000 yards a year. I mean, I got to take the over on principle.
Yeah, over. This is an automatic.
This is one of my favorite bets, honestly.
Jalen Waddle over 1,500. Like you said, though, first 3 seasons in the NFL, over 1,000. And let's not forget, people, you said down year. It wasn't really a down year. He missed 2 games with a back injury. So he would have had over at least 12, possibly another 1,300+ yard season, though. So I feel like if Jalen Waddle just plays 15+, he'll easily go over this 1,000 yard number.
100%. Like, this is a type of bet. Like, responsibly, this is a type of bet that I would put a lot of money on. Like, this is responsibly, of course, but like, man, 1,000 yards for fucking Jalen Waddle, a top 10 receiver, is insane in this offense. I mean, what are we talking about? I'm sorry, I'm lost for words because I didn't think they were going to hang 1,000 yards again, but they did. Now, touchdowns, I'll say I'm a little weary. I stayed away from it. It's at 5.5. If you want to go over, it's at plus money, plus 108. Under is at minus 136 for a good reason. I mean, last year he only had 4. His best year, 2022, he had 8 touchdowns. And in his rookie year, 2021, he went over. He had 6 touchdowns. You think he could go over this? I stayed away, but I could understand why people would go over.
He could easily go over, though, but I ended up staying away just because we know Tyreek is one of the biggest threats. You got Jonnu Smith, and we know come goal line, they're gonna run the ball in. We know they're gonna punch it in running the ball. So those touchdowns might not come as easy for Jalen. I think he's gonna have to, bust one, 40, 50-yard plays to get those touchdowns. So to get, more than 6 bombs, I don't know still. So I ended up staying away. But he's easily capable of going over the number. I'm just not willing to bet on it.
Yeah, 100%. Surprisingly, no Odell Beckham props. Yeah. I was looking to remember. I think it was either last year or 2 years ago. I hit on a Odell prop, a future. I mean, people think he's washed, and yeah, obviously he's on his tail end of his career. But I mean,
he could still be a third down threat. At the end of the day, Odell Beckham, you put the ball anywhere near him, he's gonna come down with it. That's one thing I could say. I understand he might not have that 4.5, 4.4 speed anymore, but Odell Beckham hands is still one of the best in the NFL.
And let's be honest, who runs a cleaner slant? No one. That slant is elite.
He can still go to the house off that slant.
100%, bro. So that's, I mean, let's go to the running back room because they got a 2-headed monster, Raheem Morrison and a chain as well. Let's start with Morrison. I think he is their first power back. He's their RB1 listed right now. His rushing yards, 775.5, minus 112 both ways. Another one, where I just thought this was extremely short. Last year, one of his best years, he went for over 1,000 yards. I think it's the system, obviously. But you go back to 2022 as well, 891 yards. 2021, he was hurt. He only played 2 games. 2020, 550. So he's right around that. I think in this system, Mike McDaniel, they run the ball a lot, like you just mentioned, towards the goal line. I'm going to go over 775 as well.
Dill, I'm going with the opposite side.
Ooh.
I tell you what. This is just my opinion. This is my feel. I think Mostert is going to take a step back just because let's not forget Mostert is a true vet. He's like 31, 32 years old. Devon is the younger guy. I think
Yeah.
he's going to emerge as running back one. So I'm going to go with Devon Kane over 775 and a half rushing yards. And then I'm going to go with Mostert over 7.5 touchdowns. I think Mostert
Ooh.
becomes RB2 / the third down goal line back because we know he could capable of getting it in, and we know he's been there and done that. He's the vet. We don't need to worry about fumbles in the goal line. So I think Mostert would develop to that role, and then Devin Akin is the first, second down running back who could possibly hit you with the home run because he got the speed. Let's not forget though, he kind of emerged as the RB1, then he got hurt, and then
Yeah.
Mostert was just scoring a touchdown or two a game.
He
So
led the league with 18 touchdowns last
so
year.
it was kind of hard to give Devon his true running back one job back when Mostert was just leading the league in rushing touchdowns. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with a Kane over the 75 and a half mark because they both got the same exact total yards.
Makes sense though.
I'm gonna go with him with the yards and Mostert. He had 18 last season.
Yeah.
I think he'll go over 7.5.
100%. I'm going. It at first I thought it was like an error, so I went to a different book. But most books, it's the same thing.
One of the best rushing rooms in the NFL. We know Mike McDaniels is gonna be very creative with running the ball. And he's gonna run the hell out of it, and we can't deny what we saw last season, the dominance at times of that running game. We was calling Mike McDaniels a genius at points running that football deal. So I just feel like with those two guys, they could easily both be 800, 900 plus.
Yeah, 100%. I took the over with Devon Kane. He only played 11 games last season. He got hurt, and he still had 800 yards. He had 8 touchdowns. Remember that week? I think it was from late September to early October. He had 200 yards against Denver. He had 100 yards against Buffalo. He had 151.
I'm telling you, he emerged as running back one, but Mostert just kept getting those touchdowns. Yeah. And then he misses, 4 games, I think.
Yeah.
Mostert already has a 5-6 touchdown league against the whole NFL.
Yeah, 100%. I would take his over touchdown as well. I mean, he had 8. It's at 7.5 for Devon Kane, and I think he's going to be healthier. I mean, Raheem Morris had 209 carries, and Devon only had 103. So 100 less, essentially, and he still went over it. I got to take the over on everything, and I agree. I think at the goal line, they're going to give it to Raheem Morris as well. So I think that's a little more confident play at 7.5 at plus 112 as opposed to Devon Kane, because I think when it gets down to the goal line or in the red zone, they're more likely going to give it to Raheem Morris. So,
and this is just my feel.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah,
so,
it's my feel.
So, yeah, I'm going to go over both of them as well. It's a little plus money action as well for you to get going on. But, kid, that's all I got for the Miami Dolphins. Anything else I missed?
Yeah, Dale. I this is my division winner, so I have a feeling Tua's gonna have a great year. Dale, give me over 4,000.
Oh, I missed the quarterback. Jesus Christ.
4,000.5. So just 4,000 flat with the half passing yards. Tua, he went over this. I think he had 4,600 yards last season.
Yeah, he led the league, 4,624.
Let's just be honest, people. I highly doubt it, but there's a small chance Tyreek might get half of that. It's a small chance Tyreek Hill gets half of the 4,000.5. I think with Odell, Jonnu Smith, the both running backs who could catch it and go, Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, I think he easily goes over this 4,000-yard number, Dale. Let's just be honest. If he's healthy, no concussion protocol, I think Tua goes over this number very easily with the wide receiver core he has right now. And let's not forget, people, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Jonnu Smith, I think it's worth a sprinkle to win the MVP at plus 3,000. He led the league in passing last season. If he just gets a little more touchdowns, wins the division, I guarantee Tua would have been live for the MVP deal. So as of right now, I got him over his passing. I don't think he will lead the league in passing yards, but he will definitely be top 5 in that category. I think he'll win the division over 4,500 passing yards. And to be honest, over 24.5 touchdowns as well. I think that number is too low. I think he'll be around 30. And give me the sprinkle on plus 3,000 MVP. I'm not, like I said, a sprinkle. People don't, bet heavily on it just because anything is possible. But I think with Tua, what he did last season, leading the NFL in passing yards, I think he'll be able to be top 3, top 5 again in that. I think he'll go well over 24.5 passing touchdowns, and I think they'll win the division.
Yeah, I was going to ask you because he led the league last year in passing yards. He was 10th in QBR, 110th in interceptions, and he was tied for 5th in most passing touchdowns with 29. I'm not going to touch him to lead the league in passing yards because I do think like CJ Stroud, maybe a Dak Prescott, if CD goes back, maybe Joe Burrow, Jared Goff. I think those guys are Hurts. Yeah, Jalen Hurts as well. So I think there are other guys out there, and I need better than 11-1. So I do like the over 4,000 yards, even though he's only gone over it once in his career, which was last year.
But that was his healthiest year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It depends on the health. If, like the Jets, big if he can stay healthy, which I do think he can, getting the ball out quicker, I do think he could go over this. Now, touchdowns, I'm not going to touch. Again, he's just gone over this in 1 year. So it's at minus 130. They are expecting it. Like I said, he had 29 touchdowns last year. So I do think he goes over. I'm just going to stay away from it. I do think he goes over 4,000 yards. So I think that's a little at a certain day. I feel like 4,000 is the benchmark for a good season. If you get 4,000 yards, you're a good quarterback,
And I think he's very capable of going this number if he plays 16 plus.
He's a top 10 quarterback. Whether you want to agree with not, whether he gets injured or not, when he's on the field.
With Mike McDaniels.
100%, yes. With Mike McDaniel, he's a top 10 quarterback. And I'm a Jet fan saying that. He's a Patriot fan saying that. We fucking despise the Miami Dolphins. But we got to give him credit where it's due. He's a good quarterback. He just gets injured a lot. But he's been practicing jiu-jitsu, practicing how to fall a little bit. He's getting a little better doing that. But, yeah, we're kind of bullish on the Dolphins this season. But that's it, kid. We're going to take care of the AFC South next. I know we got some guests lined up for that as well. I know you're very high on the AFC South. I actually can't wait to see what you got going on. But I don't know what two teams. I think it's the Jaguars and someone else next week. But, yeah, we'll take care of that on Monday. But any last words, kids, before we get up out of here?
No, Dill, let's just have a good weekend, Want to shout out for the people listening, it is Dylan's birthday. I know he's a little humble by it, but let's wish Dylan a happy birthday as well. Wanted to wait to the end of the show for that, Dill. So I hope you have a great weekend, and all the listeners out there, I hope you enjoy your weekend as well.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I didn't want to put it on me, but yes, you're very nice. I appreciate that. Appreciate everyone reaching out to me today for my birthday. Just a lot. Grateful I'm here with my boy E doing this 3 years and counting doing this. So grateful that I'm here with you guys and, where we got another 3 years to go. So cannot wait for that. I appreciate that, E. But that's going to do it for this Friday edition of the Dream Wager on behalf of our sponsor, Elvis, myself. Make sure you guys follow along our social media, Twitter and Instagram at the Dream Wager. You guys can find all of our episodes wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. If you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe, be a friend, tell a friend. All that good stuff really helps the show grow tremendously. So we'll see you guys on Monday. Peace.